So far, I covered all the topics from the data builder except this new replication flow, and I will cover that topic later. And today we are starting business builder. Okay, so let's learn about this business builder. So what exactly SAP is saying about this business builder? So the SAP Datasphere have two modeling layers. So one is data builder, another one is business builder. Okay, data layer is the area where data engineers create their models with a technical approach. Like we see, like in the data business data builder section, we create models with technical approach means we do joins, we bring data from multiple sources into Datasphere and combining joins, creating remote tables, applying business logic to derive the KPIs, all such kind of things we will do on the data builder part. When coming to this business layer is the area for business users who create their models using a more semantic approach. It means on business layer, we most of the time don't create any further business logic. We try to consume the data from the data builder, models. Okay, that is the use of business layer, and it is yeah, let's see further. Data layer changes permanent. Yeah, data on data builder side, we can do some manipulations in the model. For example, if there are some KPIs wrongly deriving or some logics are wrongly defined, then we can go there and do the modifications and all. But when coming to business definitions, like on the business layer, whichever models we create, here mostly these are report specific. So KPIs. What exactly here we are talking about? Business definitions on the other hand stay relatively stable, means on the business layer we almost create reports kind of models. So on report we use KPIs, so those KPIs are constant, like maybe the logic behind the KPI may change but the KPI should remain stable, right? So that's what here we are talking about. And then one more important point, business layer is loosely coupled to the data layer. What exactly means this loosely coupled? Means business layer is defined on top of data layer, data builder only. Means it is consuming the models in the data builder. Okay, but loosely coupling in the sense means if you do some changes in the data builder model, in the business layer, if we are consuming those models, it won't impact much. Means if you add one extra field in the model in a data builder, then the models which are consuming in the business layer won't get inactive. Means those will not break. It means, okay, so still they are executable format only. Whenever you do some changes, immediately there won't be any impact on the business layer until unless you try to delete some columns from the existing models and all. By addition, doing some changes, it will not impact any of the business layer. That's why it is saying loosely coupled, not completely decoupled, but loosely coupled. So there is a link still. And then the main key characteristics of business layer is enable business users to model their business scenario without knowing the underlying data models. Means what exactly? Without knowing the underlying data models means that they don't think about the how we define the model in the data builder, like what kind of joins we are using, complex logics we are doing, how data load we are doing. Those are all not required to the business users. They must know in under which model they have the data required for them. Okay, on which models they need, the data is available. If we let them know, then on top of the data builder models on business layer, business builder layer, they can create their own business models. Okay, self-servicing model for line of business. So they don't need much technical knowledge in order to create models in the business layer. So is it really true or not? Like we can see in coming time. Okay, in further. So now moving into the tool. So under the when we go to this business builder icon, business builder icon, we can come to this one. Here under business builder we have 4 different sections: business entities, fact models, consumption models, and authorizations. Okay, so business entities is we will talk in this particular session. We mainly focus on the business entities. What is business entity? So what SAP is saying about business entity, it provides the interface to the data layer. It means on the data layer we have all the data available for our reporting. Now on the business entity we are going to create some models, not some models, means we can create a new dimension or analytical data set. So we will talk about these two in detail in coming time. And on top of these business entities, we can create the consumption model and fact model. It means to create the fact model and consumption model, these business entities are the base. And to create business entities, the models in the data builder are the base. Okay. To build the data models in the data builder, we need either data from flat file or the connections. Okay. It is the hierarchy. And in the business entity, we have two kinds of things. One is new dimension and analytical dataset. So for to create an analytical dataset, we need at least one measure for it. Okay. That's what the important point here. So now let's look into this business entities. When exactly we go for dimension and when exactly we go for this analytical data set. Dimensions are nothing but master data. Okay, whenever we need whenever our wish is to create a master data kind of object, then we go for dimension type. And whenever we need transactional data, whenever we are fetching transactional data from data builder, then you can go for analytical data set. So these are nothing but like two-dimensional models, and it's a view. It won't persist any data. Okay, either new dimension or analytical data set, both does not persist any data. It will fetch at runtime from the data builder. Okay, but this dimension acts as a master data object, and this analytical data set acts as a transactional data object. In BW terminology, like a new dimension is like an info object, and analytical data set is kind of a DSO, but doesn't persist any data here. Okay, it's a two-dimensional format. Now let's try to create one dimension. In order, so how to create? By clicking on the new dimension, system will ask you to provide the business name and the technical name. And if you see, so yeah, first provide the business name. So I'm going to create a material at a material. I'm going to create almost same kind of models which I already did practice ones. Material attribute 2. Okay, so I'm going to create one object which is nothing but material attribute master data underscore 2. Whenever I am giving my business name, what happened to the technical name? You see the technical name is prefixed with the BE underscore, which is nothing but a business entity. Okay, the BE business entity, yeah, I think so. This technical name is auto-populating, prefixing with BE underscore followed by my business name. Okay, and here we need to select the entity. So in order to create a dimension on the business model, we need to select one of the entity from our data builder. So on top of which I'm going to create, I'm using this DB material master data, attribute table. This table I'm using. Okay, create. So when I'm trying to consume that particular table, business data builder entity into my business new dimension, it is asking, yes, I want, do you want to copy the properties, means whatever attributes and key figures are there in the data builder, under the table, do you want to consume all the attributes and key definitions? Then I can click on create yes. Now it will go to the design screen. So now this is the new dimension. Okay, on the top you can see it's a dimension kind, and we have multiple tabs here: general, measures, attributes, and we will see one by one. Okay, on here I can see my business name and the technical name. Business name you can change it now also, but technical name you cannot change it once you create. Okay, and it is telling what is the source for my dimension. The source for my dimension is DB material master data. Okay, and the current version of this particular one is initial version. Okay, we will talk about version in later point, and the version technical name, and these are the different phases, not phases, are different stages of my dimension. Currently it is an in process state. Once means I am creating it. Okay, so once I am creating it, if I wanted to validation, I can change. All these can be changed manually. Okay, by selecting it, you can go it. If there is no option to click on next and all, you need to select these manually. No? But before going to these, first we need to understand the above ones. Go to measure section. Okay, you have unsaved changes, cancel. So yeah, first click on save button here. So this one saved. Now on the top, if you see, and the attribute section, you see 4 are there. So these are nothing but these are the 4 columns which are available in my table. Okay, if I go to my data builder under master data table, DB master data, DB material MD, I have 4 columns are there. So these 4 columns came and into my model. Okay, dimension came into my dimension, material group, material type, material weight and all. Okay, and for example, if you create as a blank, then these four won't come, and you need to select them by going into this, clicking on this icon. And now under this dimension, if I want to create one extra dimension, then I can create it by clicking on this plus symbol. I can create attributes, one extra attribute I can create it. So if you go to the source type, is it a calculator? It will be a calculator. For example, I have date in my attributes, not data. I have something material type and material group, right? If I want to concatenate these two and create one extra column, yes, I can do it by creating one calculated column here, calculate attribute. Here I need to write my formula, and here I need to provide the technical name and the business name for the newly calculated column. Okay, and what is this auxiliary attribute? Auxiliary attribute is nothing but this attribute will not be, which are marked as auxiliary, will not be consumed by the other top layer. For example, on top of dimension, if I am creating something, then those won't be, not those are not available. Auxiliary variables, no, columns can be consumed within this dimension only. Okay, okay, fine. Going to measure section, because it is a dimension, so I am not defining any measures here. Okay, so that's why only input attributes I am having currently, input and key definition. So it is good to have one key definition. So I am adding material, because it is a material master data. I am adding material as a key dimension to this one. Okay, hierarchies, associations and authorizations we will see in coming time. Okay, coming to associations, let's look into association. What is association? Associations, here we don't need association, later we will see. Okay, on top of, for example, if I want to add this text of this material master data, then I can create that as an association here. Okay, we will come to the topic later point. As of now, here we are going to learn about how to create a dimension model, only providing the source and then adding attributes. And if you want to derive new attributes, you can have an option to it. And then once everything is there, then click on ready to use. Whenever you select ready to use and click on save button, then you are done with creation of your dimension. And if you want to do the data preview of this dimension, click on the data preview icon here. Then you can go to the data preview screen here. So this is material group, and here on the left side panel, perspective fields nothing but which are there on your layout, and below fields material type and weight are not there. If you want to add anything to the perspective, you simply click here on three dots, add to perspective, it will come here. Okay, so you see it is coming. Now if I am removing my material, if I want to remove one field from the perspective, click on three dots, remove from the perspective, then it will be. And if you see here, material group I removed, right? Data is not getting aggregated because it is of type what dimension. So that's all here. This is how to create a dimension type business entity. Okay. Now next topic is how to create a analytical data set. Okay, in the business entity. So to create it, click on here. Now I'm going to create a sales underscore data underscore analytical AD underscore 2. This is my business name I'm giving here, and I need to select one entity. So I'm creating it on top of my DB, TA sales 1, for example. On this table, I'm going to create it. Click on create button. So we can select. Now when I'm creating this one, it is asking, do you want to copy? I want to copy the following properties. Measures, I have one measure in this particular table which I selected, and I have 4 attributes, and there's a key also defined. Do you want to copy all these, or you want to add it manually, whichever you want? So by clicking on create button, you are reducing your effort. You need to add them manually. Simply it will come here. Okay, so I have one source, and I currently it is an initial version and in process, and on measures I can see quantity, and the aggregation tab I can attributes tab I can see my 4 things. Now in this particular by creating, how to create a attribute, calculate attribute using formula, I will cover in the next session. And measures also, how we can add some extra measures also, we can look into the next session. Okay, so or else we can look at here also. When I click on this, which one? When I click on this particular quantity, it is going to the definition of the quantity. So quantity is of a measure type and aggregation type is summation. Where is source? Aggregation? Yeah. So measure type is aggregation, means summation will happen when you at a reporting level. And source type quantity aggregation, yeah, aggregation summation behavior. And if you want to change the behavior, you can change it. And if you want to apply some exception aggregations, SAP is giving such option also. And this particular quantity is a combined. It's a semantically linked with the unit. So what is that unit? Unit is the column for it. And if any null is there, then we are replacing with a 0. For example, if I want to create one extra column here, so how can I create? I can create a new measure here by clicking on plus symbol. And then what I can do here, I can define, I'm going to create a amount column, for example, amount. So under amount, I am aggregation, summation, and I want to make it not like this, source, source measure, quantity. I'm taking it as a quantity. 1 second. So amount aggregation summation. So what exactly this amount is? So this amount field, actually I given it wrong. It is not the correct way. So I am cancelling this one. This is not the intention of this addition of key figure. When you consume models, for example, if you consume a relational dataset model, relational table where there is no semantic property assigned to any key figure, then what happen, using these key figures you can semantically attach them. For example, quantity can be attached to unit. That kind of measures you can create here. Okay, this is not a calculated key figure. Remember that point. It's a measure where you semantically change, adding it to the corresponding unit, or you can change the aggregation behavior of it. Okay, so I'm not saving this one. I'm coming back one step, and then key figure definition. Yeah, key fields which you define anything on your table level, those you can see it here. Okay, and coming to association. What exactly is this association? So this is a transactional data, right? In the transactional data, I want to combine my master data. So I have a material master data, right? So if I want to combine, I can click on this plus under associations. I can click on plus symbol, and here I can select my master data. So if I go here and material attribute, you see whatever I am seeing here, those are business entities only. I am not able to see anything from my data builder layer. All these are from my business layer only. So on my business layer, there is a dimension, master data dimension is there. I am selecting that one. Okay, and click on apply button. So what happened now? The material in my transactional field, I am joining with material in my dimension field. Okay, so that I can consume the attributes of my material master data. And I need to provide a name association context. So I am giving just material ATTR. Okay, here. So that's it. So click on save button. So what you did, you created an association in your analytical data set with the material master data so that you can leverage those. If I go to attribute section now, so under attribute section, you see these three icons. After press symbol, we have an icon, right? If I go there, not getting anything here. That's it, I think. Remaining all we will see it in coming time. Here quantity only is coming. So okay, fine. Click on go to general tab and go to this ready to use, because whenever you are done with your modifications, and if you feel like your analytical data set is ready to use, then you can change the status here and click on save button. Okay, now go to the data preview. If I go to data preview, so here I can see, you see the association, where by using association I can find, see the fields of the master data. So this is currently on my perspective, I have date, document number and quantity. Okay, I can remove this created on from the perspective, document number also from the perspective, add only material to the perspective. Then data will get aggregated at a material level. Okay, M1, M2, I'm getting data in this way. And if you want to bring material type, then simply go to material type and add to perspective. Then you are using it as a, like a, in BW, we can call them as a navigational attribute. So you see on T1, T2, you are getting material type. From master data attributes also, you are able to consume on your data preview. Okay, so that's it. So this is how to create a business entities, like either it is a dimension or it is a analytical data set. So I hope it is clear, and in our next session we will see about fact